Hi guys, it's Lizzie Dean with Lizzie Dean Makes. As you can see, I've just come back from cycling down to the town to do my monthly grocery haul. So this is what I've got in the back of my tricycle here, and I've just cycled that uphill, probably about 1.5 miles from the shops. It's not that far, but uphill with a full month's worth of grocery shopping. It's pretty sweaty, so as you can see I'm luminous pink right now. So I'm going to go in and then I'll show you what I've got. So I thought I would take you through my month's worth of grocery haul this month. What I've basically done is I've got a store cupboard full of dried ingredients. I've got all sorts of different rices, I've got pastas, I've got lots of tins of beans and chickpeas, lentils, split peas, all of that sort of thing. And I've got a freezer full of bean burgers that I made the other day, barbecue bean burgers, and some Moroccan stew and things like that. So what I thought I would do was to go and get a bunch of frozen veg. I've got a lot of fresh veg still coming in from the front garden where I've got all my grow bags and containers with veg growing in, and I'm getting a lot of green beans and tomatoes and raspberries and things still out of that, as well as a lot of salad leaves. So I've got a lot of fresh veg coming through, but what I thought I would do was get some of the other things that store particularly well. So I went to Asda this time because they've got a bigger range of frozen veg. So I got red and white onions, or brown onions. I found these sweet potato chunks, which I thought was pretty handy because I use those to thicken up sauces, stews, soups, that sort of thing. And you don't necessarily need a whole potato, so rather than having a bag full in the cupboard and only using part of a potato, or going and chucking a whole lot in, which is just wasteful when it's not necessary, I saw these and I thought that would be a good idea. So these were less than £1 each, I think, each of these bags. And Edamame soya beans, which are delicious, and I've had a hard time finding these in shops, so I was really impressed to find those. And then I've got a large lump of the cheapest cheddar cheese possible. The reason for this, we've tried all the vegan cheeses, but because my husband's allergic to nuts, most of the best ones we can't actually have in our house, and I wasn't impressed by any of the others, so we've decided to keep eating dairy and just be vegetarian rather than vegan. When it comes to dairy, we don't eat eggs, but we're going to stick with the dairy because we haven't got enough choice in the shops near us of things that are actually worth eating. So I've got a whole bunch of yogurts and cheese, sliced mushrooms, another pack of gnocchi. This is one of my staples in the kitchen because it's something my husband likes to cook when it's a work night and he can't be bothered. So he either reheats something that I've previously cooked and frozen, or he likes to do gnocchi with sauces. I've got 2 bags of chips, just the cheap Asda Smart ones, because they're to go with the bean burgers that I cooked the other day. I've got 3 of these tiger loaves. I love tiger bread, but we can't get it in Aldi, which is where we normally shop, so I'm going to put these 3 loaves in the freezer, so they'll keep them. We'll be able to have some of that when we want to. I've got some washing capsules for the washing machine and some dishwasher tablets. I found this coffee in Asda, which is essentially similar to the Azira stuff. We usually get the Aldi version of this, which is about £3.50, which is a lot cheaper than the Azira version, but this one was actually only £2.50 maybe, so it was even cheaper than that, so I thought we'd give this a go. See how we get on with that. I found this as well, which is Chipotle Paste. Now I haven't actually tried this, anything Chipotle, because you normally find it on meat dishes, which I don't eat. So I've seen it on menus and things, but I've never actually tried it, so I thought I would give that a go this month. And then we've got a load of dried store goods. I've got some highly unhealthy tins, some tinned hot dogs and macaroni cheese and baked beans and things for my husband, because he does a very physical job at the moment, and he's on a bit of a calorie deficit. So he likes to have ridiculously unhealthy things for his packed lunch. I've got a microwave where he works, so he can heat those up. And then I've got a couple of other bits for doing lunches, and some pestos, which my husband likes cooking with the gnocchi or the dried pasta. And these are my puppy Charlie's absolute favourite treats, and they were on sale for 90p, so I thought I'd get him a bag because he's been a good boy. And some risotto rice. Now, I often don't cook with actual risotto rice. I often cook with the Tesco 7 grains easy cook grains, which is obviously very healthy. But I do love risotto, and basically risotto, paella, all the rice based, the gumbos, you know, all the rice based, rice and beans based dishes I love, and I love cooking them. So I like having that in. And I also got these mushroom crisp bakes, which were on offer for £1 for 2, and I thought give them a go. It's a nice sort of comfort foody thing. So this is really, it's just the processed foods and things that we can't provide ourselves out of the garden, or that we don't already have in the store cupboard or the freezer. So that's basically the month's grocery haul, and I picked that up and rode it home in the back of my tricycle. So it's probably about 1.5 miles down to the town centre where the shops are. So I cycled down and then did my shop and put it all in the back of the tricycle in the basket and cycled it home. And as you can imagine, frozen and tinned goods are quite heavy, so I was very sweaty by the time I got home. It's quite warm still, even though it's the end of September, beginning of October. We haven't had that switch into chill autumn weather. Here's Charlie investigating the haul. So I'm going to go and do a bit of a harvest in the front garden and get some of the fresh veg, but I'm going to put these things away first in the freezer so they keep. So as part of my monthly grocery haul video, I thought I would do a clear out of my pantry, which I need to do anyway to put everything away properly and check the dates on things. But I thought what I would do is I would show you the things that I already had in my pantry along with the things that I bought today, and talk a little bit about how you can invest in your pantry in order to cook on a budget in the future. So if we start at this side, this is my big investment is in this area here. So this is all spices and herbs and seasoning mixes. So I've got things like the Ras El Hanout Moroccan spice mix, the barbecue mix. I've got paella and Cajun mixes and different ones for different styles of cooking, which really makes a big difference when your basic ingredients tend to be these sort of staples here. So I've got chickpeas, I've got butter beans, coconut milk, variety of other mixed beans and black beans. I've got kidney beans down there, white kidney beans, peeled tomatoes, that sort of thing is like my staple, along with the green and yellow split peas. I've got pearl barley, soya mints, these sorts of things that I cook with, that are staples that are always there in the cupboard, dried or frozen or tinned. And then this makes it possible, you know, piri piri, garam masala, Cajun, all of the different flavours and world cooking styles that you can then use to make those basic ingredients, the same small set of basic ingredients, into completely different tasting dishes. So that's I think that's a really big key to cooking on a budget, is to invest in your spice collection and your seasoning mixes collection, because I mean these tins are maybe £1, maybe £2 at the most, and they will do so many meals. They're worth investing in, but it also opens up a whole different range of flavours and styles of cooking with just a small subset of basic ingredients that you can get on a really cheap budget. Another thing that I'm really into is this mushroom ketchup. It's not like tomato ketchup, it's not a dipping sauce, it's something that you put into stews, casseroles, soups, risottos, all sorts of things. It's got a very rich flavour. It's a bit like Liam Perring's Worcestershire sauce, but more mushroom based. It's absolutely amazing. And I've also got some Worcestershire sauce. So I essentially eat vegetarian, but my husband doesn't, hence the hot dogs you can see in the back corner now, which would not normally be in a vegetarian pantry. Some of these things are things that he eats rather than myself. Another thing is passatas and chopped tomatoes is the base for pasta sauces, lasagnas, all sorts of things. You can buy obviously the tomato lasagna sauce or whatever, but it's much cheaper to make those yourself. So in general, if I'm doing a food prep or something like that, we will tend to make things like that from scratch, as well as things like barbecue sauces, peri sauces, things like that we're eating hot with frozen corn cubes or something cooked in. Other things, as I said, I'm really into rice dishes. So I've got this Tesco 7-grain rice easy cook, which is just amazing. It's as you can see, all sorts of different whole grains, also just standard sort of risotto rice and paella rice. We've also then got the boil in a bag Uncle Ben's style things, and a few of these. So if these are on offer, these ones I get from Aldi and they're very cheap, but I won't pay more than £1 ever for one of these. I would rather just cook it from scratch, but these do mean you can just cook it in 2 minutes. And these risotto things from Aldi as well, where you just literally pour it into a pan, add some water and heat it up. Makes it very foolproof. Other things are these vacuum packed gnocchi, which are a really good cupboard staple, as I said, because my husband doesn't mind cooking these things after work when you're tired and you can't be bothered to cook. Other things are these things like my red lentils, split yellow and green peas, pearl barley. I cook a lot with flaxseed or linseed, as they're called here. So I've got brown and golden linseed, like this. You can use them for making vegan eggs for baking and things like that, but they're a great source of protein. You can add them to all sorts of different dishes. Chia seeds as well, another like that. I love adding seeds to everything: pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds. And we also use a lot of dried fruit, especially in things like the Moroccan tagines and stews, which sort of add a lot of richness of flavour to things when you're not cooking with meat and you haven't got that texture of chewing meat. Corn and tofu and things, they don't have that same chewing experience, so I find that adding dried fruit and seeds and things to those sorts of recipes help to give more interest in terms of the texture. Also giant couscous, which I adore, quinoa. We also normally have sort of like the Ainsley Harriet spicy couscous packets, because I think they're brilliant, but only again if we find them on sale somewhere. And dried soya mints like this, which you reconstitute with water before cooking, and that's great for using in chilies and things like that, where you might add in some beans and things, but you want some mince effect, which is great as a vegetarian vegan alternative. What else? Oats. I put porridge oats in everything. They're so cheap and they help bulk things out, like the barbecue bean burgers and all of my baking, breakfast muffins, all sorts of things, as well as smoothies. They're just a great cupboard staple to have. So that's essentially what's going on in my pantry. And as you can see, I've probably got enough food here to last several months. So my monthly grocery haul that I did today actually only cost £35, it was 34 something, but £35, and that lasts us for all our main evening meals and my husband's packed lunches for the next month. We will probably do a top-up shop at some point for fresh milk, potentially some fresh bread, although we've got a lot in the freezer now with those tiger loaves, and probably some more cheese as well, because we've only got one big pack of cheddar which won't last us a month. So those are the things that we'll probably top up shop, but that's essentially all of our grocery shopping for under £35 for the whole month. And the way that we do that is by having a plant-based diet and keeping store ingredients that don't go to waste because they don't spoil, which are dried, tinned or frozen with a long shelf life, so that you can invest in them and they last, and even if you don't use them that week or that month, they're not going to go into the dustbin. But also investing in a good spice collection. So those would be my top tips for eating on a budget and for doing a monthly grocery haul and pantry fill. So that's it. Thanks for watching.